What kind of dog is it?
He's like a terrier, terrorist.
I
Terrier
love
terrorist.
terriers. Do you have a picture? You have to send me a picture later. I love terriers.
We're jumping right into it, aren't we, Michelle?
We are.
Before we start, I gotta tell you, I drop him off to get groomed and stuff. I'm leaving, and there's a woman outside with her dog, and she's like, are all the people inside and all the dogs inside gone? And I'm like, I guess. As a veterinarian hospital, it's kind of standard. And she's like, well, my dog doesn't get along with other dogs or people. And I'm like, what?
So it's a cat.
Doesn't get along with dogs or other. She's got the Mao Zedong of dogs.
They have to clear the place? They have to clear the room for her?
I can't think of any dog that doesn't get along with it. Maybe it's just time to put him down.
That's horrible.
That's what I would have suggested.
That's awful.
And then I went home and I came here right away. So, hi. I'll jump right into it. This is going to be a nightmare to edit, by the way. Good luck, Michelle.
I hate you.
Well, this is How the Arts Were Won, episode
Who cares?
6. Let me not. I don't care about the episode. Yeah, special guests, who I happen to like quite a bit, like 7 out of 10 on the likability.
It's almost mutual, but not quite.
She's a very famous author now. She wasn't famous when I met her, but she's a very famous author now. She walks around these author conferences like she owns the place.
She does.
Shoulders
Everyone
back.
they all just flock to her. It's KT.
Do.
Oh my God, is that KT?
Who does she think she is? I
know.
No, she's wonderful. Her debut novel released earlier this year. It is called I Know What You Did.
No, it's not.
It's not called I Know What You Did.
I know. I get the title wrong so often. I did that on purpose. It's You Know What You Did. You Know What You Did. I read it. This is one of the rare interviews where I actually did read the entire book of our guest. It really is truly a wonderful debut novel. I can't wait to read the next one, which I'm sure she is working feverishly on. And this is KT Nguyen. Hi, KT.
Hi, it's good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
What does KT stand for?
I don't want to
have to say it.
I know. That's why I'm asking you the tough questions.
Yeah, it is my initials, but I'm not going to say what it stands for.
I'm like, anything I guess will sound somehow subtly racist. So I don't want to make it.
I was leaving the door open in case you wanted to say kryptonite titanium.
Kryptonite's wrong.
Kryptonite titanium. But it's actually, it means
titanium.
golden branch or golden hairpin, like the hairpin that looks like a stick.
Oh, yes. We know. I know.
How did they come up with that? Your parents.
My mom.
Mother.
I don't know. I think it's some literary, nice sounding name.
Well, I like it, and I'm a fan. Michelle, give us the rundown on KT.
Okay, so KT Nguyen's 2024 debut psychological thriller, You Know What You Did, has received praise from People Magazine, Crime Reads, Publishers Weekly, Booklist, Book Riot, Parade, Elle Magazine, The Seattle Times, and The Telegraph, and now How the Arts Were Won. A former Glamour magazine editor, she's lived in New York City, San Francisco, and Taipei, and has now settled just outside Washington, D.C. with her family, where she enjoys native plant gardening, playing with her rescue terrier, Alice, and rooting for the Mets. We love all of that. I especially love the native plant gardening because my house is filled with 80 plants. So I'm very big. Yeah, I'm very big into plants, and so
you don't murder them?
No. I mean, it's a lot of plants. So I think I lose one a year maybe. So it's just natural cycle of life.
I told you I love terriers, Matt. It's in my bio.
Yes. Well, I didn't know you loved the Mets.
I do. And you posted yesterday about the Royals. What was that?
Well, I made a $5 bet, a futures bet that the Royals would win the World Series, and it pays 80-1. So,
are you actually a Royals fan?
No.
Oh,
but at the beginning of the season, back in I don't know, April or March or whatever, I had a gut feeling about the Royals.
Perhaps we should get into KT's artistry and genius now. What do you think, Matt?
I would love to. In fact, my first question is kind of a basic one that I'm sure you've answered a million times already, but I'm very curious. This is a thriller that revolves around a mother and a daughter to some extent, but it's so internalized with the central character, and I won't get into all that. But how much of your personal experience, your own personal commentary did you sort of like stick in here? And what was the overall point you were trying to make about the psychology of this woman, or let's say the domestic trauma, if that's fair to say?
I think there are biographical elements of mine that overlap with the character. I'm not really like the character,
No, I would hope so.
personality wise, but my family did come from Vietnam during the war, and my mother was pregnant with me when she came over, like when they escaped Vietnam. And I was born in a refugee camp in California. But unlike the character in the book, my parents were like married. I have 4 brothers and sisters who are much older than me. It was like I did grow up in Ohio, but it was like a middle class family. It wasn't quite like the character in the book. I think what I share most with Annie, who's the main character, is that her obsessive compulsive disorder. I think I was really able to get inside the mental health aspect of the book and really portray that in a raw and visceral way because I had experienced it also. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people with OCD or who are just interested in it. They don't know if they have OCD because they've seen portrayals on the media that are really kind of misleading or comedic, that there is a very dark side to OCD, or there can be.
Sure. So this is almost the hyperbole of your own personal
Actually, my
experience.
personal experience was far more extreme than the book.
Oh,
Interesting.
as far as with OCD.
Yes, with OCD. So this was very much like just, I mean, I think that people with OCD or severe OCD know that it can be much more intense, like, and punishing.
Right.
So the book is not an exaggeration of it.
Sure. Side note, we can exclude this, but how did you deal with your own OCD and getting it under control? Because
I don't mind talking about it. I enjoy talking about it, but I didn't know I had OCD for a long time because I really had watched shows and it was like always, oh, you're very neat, or you wash your hands a bit too much. I had no idea until I was in my 20s, and I had gone to psychologists, talk therapy, and they always diagnosed me with like anxiety or depression, not OCD. Until my daughter was born when I was 32, and I decided it was time to take care of the issue. Like I didn't want it to impact her and her life. So we were living in the Bay Area at the time, and I went to the specialist, and he referred me to one of the top experts in the country. I was lucky lived in the Bay Area. And then he referred me to someone else. And it turns out my OCD is very genetic and biochemical. And the talk therapy is basically useless. That's why I always found it so frustrating. Literally, they prescribed medication. And I take it to this day. I'll take it for the rest of my life. And now I'm totally fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was totally like I just needed this. And it's just sertraline. It's nothing unusual. And it totally helps me. And it's my personal experience. I think it's uncommon. And my psychiatrist said this is like really rare. Like it's really a great response. But because there's such a genetic element and like biochemical element, this was able to, manage
Address
it.
it.
Yeah, address it. And I've gotten a couple comments where people are like, this isn't realistic, but it's my experience and it's one character's experience. They're like, usually you need to do cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy. And I just didn't.
Wait, so when you say comments, you're talking about comments on the book, like from readers?
Yeah,
Really?
because I still, I just recently stopped, but I was reading my Goodreads reviews, all of them.
Oh, no.
I know. I know.
Not to do that.
Rookie. I'm just kidding.
No, everyone tells me not to, like other authors, but it makes me want to do it more. And I think it actually kind of inured me to it because now I don't pretty much after you read 500, you're kind of no one's saying anything new.
No, right. Either they like it or they don't like it. And either their comment is dumb or it's insightful. And that's That's all there is to it, right? It's like a fetish. It's like sadomasochistic behaviors, just wanting to like read reviews.
No, it's because for years I worked in corporate and marketing.
Right.
And it's so drilled down to like studying the consumer and what they want.
Yes,
So
the feedback,
it's,
right.
yes. And it's so hard to, like, I do think it's important to take in
Some
that
feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit, like, but it's
Yeah.
can be too much. Like, I'm writing my second book and it can be a little too much.
Yeah, I think with that, it's so key that you as the writer, as an artist, as a creator, have the backbone.
Yeah.
You know, have solidified your voice, have a real strong idea of who you are and what you're trying to put into your stories and what your stories are about, so that when the feedback does come, you're more like a mountain and those are like the waves, right? And so it's like it's not actually changing fundamentally who you are. So
Yeah. I agree with that. And that's the ideal situation. But because I don't write literary fiction necessarily, I write commercial thrillers, psychological thrillers. There is a commercial aspect to it.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for my muse to come and seeking this inspiration necessarily. There's an art to it, but the art takes into account the reader experience. So I can't totally,
Right, absolutely. But then every reader's, well, not every reader's different, but a lot of readers are different. And I feel like it's hard to negotiate all their opinions. And then sometimes if you try, then you kind of alienate everybody, or everyone's just like, what's the word? Like neutral.
It's lukewarm,
yeah.
And neutrality in the art is
It's
not
dangerous.
neutrality. Not to get too philosophical, it's dangerous, but art is also not neutral. There's a famous quote. I don't know who to attribute it to, but it's basically that if you've made everyone happy, you've done something wrong.
Yeah,
I'm paraphrasing, right? If your book is only
I have to
positive
remind
review.
myself. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I have to remind myself that for sure.
Right.
It's really hard, but I am trying to come to that like conclusion internally myself, and I think I'm starting to.
Yeah. Well, how did you write You Know What You Did? Was that a very lonely
Typewriter or
process?
computer?
No, you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean.
What pen did you use? Was it ballpoint, gel, 0.7, 0.5, 0.3?
I actually wrote it. My friend Helen, she wrote, a friend of mine won the script pipeline contest and with a
That is true.
screenplay.
Yeah.
She's a good friend, former coworker of mine. And I had other friends who were having books published. And I thought, I was flying every week to San Francisco at the time, commuting by coastal. And I just kind of knew I didn't want to do that long term. I wanted to do something more creative. And so I thought, oh, why don't I didn't know if I was going to write a screenplay or a book or something. I was like, I just want to write something. And I worked with, her name is Camille Pagan. She's like an author who's very successful, but she's also, she's not a book coach, but she's a mindset coach. So she'd help me kind of position my thoughts a certain way. And I was able to, she was like, just start writing something. So I literally just started writing like some every day. And it
And now you have
book.
a published book. Yeah.
And it didn't take that long.
folks.
It was
Get a
like
mindset coach.
9 months. And then like I created an agent and,
Here
I
we
sold
are.
the book. So it was overall pretty fast. Like it was just the time from publication, you get the deal and publication is like, like a little long, like it's over a year, but
I wouldn't say it's discouraging, but it's got to be like kind of a, not your fault, but like a slap in the face to the authors who have been trying for 10 years or 15 years, 20 years to try and get something published. But I think the secret, I've always said this, and I think it was the case here. If you write something that feels personal, not only is the writing process so much easier, because I'm assuming this book in some way kind of spilled out of you, right? It wasn't like this like hard wrenching process of years and years and years where you're trying to figure out the plot. It just probably came out, right?
No,
because it was a topic that resonated with you. And I think that's what most authors tend not to use as a starting point. I really think you have to use it as a starting point.
well, I definitely,
yeah,
I agree with you, Matt, that I think the personal aspect is what attracted, like why it offers from agents and the editors. Like, I think the personal aspect, because it was very much drawn from my biographical experience, the insight into OCD and mental health. I think that attracted the industry people. But I think readers, based on all my readings and my Goodreads reviews, they actually really prefer the second half of the book, which is more of a straight thriller. And it's written that way because I read so many thrillers. And I was at the time, it was like, by then it was during COVID, when I was reading a lot of thrillers. Readers love that second half. I think industry people like the first half, which is a bit more like family drama, literary, but the second half is what really, like the genre, people like that.
Yeah. Well, do you think they like that first, or talking about the agents and the industry, do you think they like that first half because they're able to sell it as something that is relevant to you, to your personal story? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do. And I think that's part of it, but it wasn't the big part of
the
it.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a smaller part of it.
Yeah, but I think that's what made it so appealing to me. It almost, I don't know if you've read a lot of Megan Abbott books. I know you're familiar with Megan Abbott. But something like her latest one, I think it's her latest one, Beware the Woman, where it feels like a literary thriller, where it's just like a pretty firm step above the typical straight genre fare. Yeah. And I don't know, that's personally what I liked about it, because it took an extra, it just took a little bit deeper dive into the character, into theme, into I mean, you could really pick apart this book when you reread it, whether you intend for it or not, you know. I think that more often too, and this is also my other question to you, authors find out new stuff that they didn't realize they were writing about from the people who read it, you know, and leave a review and say, you know, you take a step back and you're like, oh, I didn't intend for that, but I'm glad that they gleaned that from the story or from the character.
I don't know about themes, because my book has a lot of themes that's already in it, like threads and undercurrents. Yeah. But I think my biggest surprise is it's kind of more superficial with the book, is that I can't reveal it because spoiler. There are certain characters that I thought it was pretty clear they were malevolent characters, and then readers loved the characters. There's definitely...
It does throw you for a little bit of a loop, and I won't spoil anything because everyone should read this, but it did throw me for a little bit of a loop, but I kind of didn't see it coming, but also you know, you kick yourself for not realizing it earlier.
Yeah, and people think they're like, it came out of nowhere. This character is so fantastic. And I totally in my head did not see it that way at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everyone brings their own subjectivity, obviously, to reading, and
maybe those readers are getting gaslit in their real life. And
right.
They don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I pause one moment. I know I don't want to bother. I think my dog just opened the door and walked in.
Oh my
She's
God.
like, I'm going to get her out and I'll be right back.
Okay.
I wonder if he turned the handle like in Jurassic Park.
That's what I was imagining.
Right. He just like popped his head and like, hey, you done?
He's like, time for a walk.
No, she's a tiny terrier. She's like, weighs like 15 pounds, but I think if the door didn't latch all the way, she can push it open with her nose.
Interesting.
Let me take a step back too, because everyone always has this question, the 90% of authors out there who are still unpublished. When you sent this out as a query, what did you kind of focus on, or did you focus on any particular element as far as like, hey, this story, you know, I have OCD, I struggle with this, and this inspired the story. Like how much did you play that angle up?
I didn't mention it at all. I literally sent out a query that's very much like my book jacket copy. And I mentioned that I was a magazine editor, and that I mentioned comps for my book. I really enjoyed Lisa Jewell, Robin Harding, kind of authors who write psychological thrillers / domestic suspense, but kind of a little more, the prose is elevated. It's commercial, but a little bit more literary.
Upmarket, basically.
Yeah, upmarket. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Right. Hey, I got all the glossary of terms down now.
Yes.
Good. Maybe you can provide our listeners with a handy dandy guide, because
no, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just throw out words.
Upmarket sounds right.
Yeah. But that's interesting to me that you didn't, because I always tell writers, whether it's screenwriters or authors, include that because it's going to help maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day,
it probably would, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And I I don't think any agents, maybe they asked me when I talked to them. And then I know my editor asked if I was comfortable sharing,
right.
some of the elements were from my own life.
Right.
Has it been a little, I think I asked you this before too at one of the conferences, one of the many conferences we've attended together this year. I think it's been like 2, but still. It's been a little surreal being on panels with Karen Slaughter and on all these other big authors and, getting interviewed and podcasts and all that, right?
Excuse me, KT is a big author.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Matt.
now. Yeah.
Michelle said it at the beginning in my intro. Weren't you listening? Listen to Michelle.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I thought we were cutting out levity and being serious here. No.
I wouldn't say it's surreal because when I was an editor at Glamour, I did a lot of interviews. I did TV. I did, various things.
Yeah.
So I think I was a little prepared for it. I think, and I like talking to people. I like doing panels. I like doing podcasts. And it's not like I think if I were a New York Times bestseller and I was going on a global tour, that would be surreal maybe. But no, I've had success with the book, but it's not like, Steven Spielberg's not optioning it.
No, not yet. That was my other question. Has there been any film or TV interest so far? You don't have to give me specifics if there has. And also, how did that come about? Because I know it's so different for every author who kind of veers off into the adaptation realm.
There has been interest, definitely from the point even of very, very early scouts reading very, very early versions. There was a lot of interest.
Oh.
And I actually think that was before the writer's strike and then things kind of froze up. And then I've had some meetings. Nothing's firm or, set yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for some Hollywood producers and studios I've gotten some feedback that people don't feel comfortable or equipped to tell this story.
Why is that?
I think people want an Asian American, like they don't feel like they can tell an ethnic story.
We're whispering it.
Yes, exactly. They're like, we love the book. This is great. Our office was buzzing about it.
But we're not Asian, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I think there are Asian authors maybe or screenwriters.
Right. I was just having this conversation before we were recording today's podcast with a he's biracial, he's half Chinese screenwriter who we were talking about the same sort of stuff. It's like, well, if I write something that with Chinese characters, is Hollywood expecting it to be a story that's culturally specific? And my honest answer was, I think for a lot of people, yes, they expect that. And do I agree with it? No, I think it's stupid. Just because a character is Vietnamese, for example, that doesn't mean that has to speak to the Vietnamese experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're you're a Chinese American or Korean American whose family has been here for many, many generations, I would say my book has more in common with maybe refugees who came from Haiti or, other countries because it's the refugee experience. I think there's a lot more in common there than necessarily like a wealthy Chinese American family who's been here for,
generations.
A very long time. Yeah, generations.
I mean, Michelle and I are more of immigrants than some people that you would think are immigrants in this country. You know what I mean? Like I'm only third generation or something. Yeah.
Oh, I'm first generation.
You're first generation.
Oh, really?
Right.
I didn't know that, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm from Malaysia, so Asian.
You are?
Definitely. I am.
I had no idea.
I was born there. I have lots of relatives in government over there.
Oh my gosh. I did not know that. And I didn't know Matt had a dog either. This is mind blowing.
So many things.
Yeah.
What a great biography I have. You're an immigrant with relatives in the Malaysian government. Matt has a dog.
Yeah, my uncle has met Vladimir Putin, because he was the UN representative for Malaysia. So when the Malaysian Airlines flight was shot down, my uncle, yeah,
he didn't fall out a window.
He's a lawyer.
You didn't accidentally get poisoned.
No, not at all.
at any rate, I asked that because it is still a thing, and it's just a leftover kind of, and I'm sure there's market data maybe to back it up. The fact that like audiences respond more to casts that are just generic and white and whatever.
Yeah.
But eventually, the films and TV series out there are going to prove that it's not really the case anymore.
I don't know if it's about whiteness or lack thereof. I think it's that the stereotypical, like, when we see an Asian person or we see a white person or we see a black person, we're expecting that what our, understanding of those people is reflected in that character. And so that's the problem. That's really the problem. And that's what Hollywood understands. It's like, okay, when there's a lead Chinese character, I mean, maybe he's super Americanized or she's super Americanized or whatever, but there's got to be some Chinese culture there, like, that everybody can connect to, because, the stereotypes help us to make those connections, and maybe you can depart from it. But like that doesn't happen quite as much as we want it to, so.
It's the implicit bias.
Yes, implicit bias. Absolutely. Thank you. When we see a black person on screen, we're like, if that person is like portrayed as super successful, very rich or whatever, like it doesn't match up with our stereotypes. And that's a problem. And so that's why it's like, okay, with your book, they don't want to give it. They don't think they can find they need a refugee screenwriter, I guess, to.
Well, I think that isn't even the issue. I think they feel like they need an Asian American screenwriter. And the bigger issue is, I think what someone could tell the story more compellingly if they were a refugee. It doesn't matter what country. It doesn't have to be an Asian country.
That's right.
It's really a refugee experience that I think would unite people, having to leave your home country on a dime, starting over in a new country versus, I mean, I think there are exceptions like the show Beef, the A24.
Yeah.
It's like there are examples where it's like not a stereotypical story, and stories can break through just by having these great characters, hopefully.
Yeah, and like one of my favorite movies, unabashedly, was The Farewell, and it's culturally specific because of the way you don't tell your grandparents if they're dying. You just kind of let it go. But that was super universal to me, and it's like I'm not a Chinese, person or Chinese female, right? And it's like, and it resonated with me. So like, there's still that. I think we were trained in the media for so many years of seeing a film with an all black cast, let's say, and it was an urban film, and it was like, New Jack City, and it was this and it was that, and it's like that kind of changes your expectations for a generation of filmmakers.
So weirdly, you're saying, and I think this is right, that Hollywood created these parameters for itself that it now can break.
Yeah.
Well, how can you shatter that if everyone wants either a slave story or like a gangster story? It's right.
I don't have answers on this podcast. I just have questions, and I'm glad we're getting back. I'm glad we're getting back to our political roots on this podcast, because that's really what we set out to do in the first place.
Yeah, everyone's just being too careful. That's all I've got to say. And we have to be willing to take risks. If not, because stories are, I think, what unites us. And, no amount of bias and things like that, like will stop a good story from connecting with everybody. So,
well, what do you think about just with the way the algorithm works, everything, the increased segmentation, people get fed news, they get fed entertainment that's entirely catered to them or what they're currently thinking. And I think that more and more readers, viewers want that in their cultural content. They don't want to see other things. They're used to just seeing what is served to them.
That's why whenever I see someone say, "Oh, this book wasn't written for you, or this isn't your story to like, consume, or this blah, blah, blah. Like, shut up. If I want to read it, I'm going to read it. And if I get something out of it, then it was a successful
This isn't for
story.
your kind of white male. Nah.
No, right. It's like, come on.
Well, that's great because, I mean, as a person of color, I'm used to growing up reading books where I am identifying, I'm viewing the world through other characters' eyes. Like, and it isn't always something that people are used to doing or want to do, or they feel it's burdensome for them to have to do it. And it's, to me, it's just reading. Like, you read all kinds of different stories.
Yeah. And the reverse of that, and there's exceptions to this for sure, but like writing a story that features subject matter or characters that aren't directly linked to the author, I think we have to be a little bit more lenient on that front too. Like, I wouldn't write about the Native American experience in like the 1980s or something because I'm not Native American. So obviously, like, that authorship plays a role in that. But we were at a point, I think it was a brief point too, from like 2018 to like 2022, and I think it's finally dying out. I would hear like, well, men shouldn't be writing about female characters. And
are you talking about hashtag own voices, which I hated?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but as a Malaysian person who is female, I think you should.
Well, I think that there's a difference. And if you do that, you're writing through difference, you have to do it well. Like, you have to talk to other people. Yeah. You have to know the community. And that's something that you shouldn't just, hop in and without any research or talking to anybody, which I think happens a lot. I mean, I've read male authors who are writing female characters, and after I've read the book, I'm like, why do I know the bra size and hip dimensions of every female character in the novel, and I have no idea what the dudes look like? It's kind of weird. Like, it's really distracting. She has full hips, and
they're always very busty whenever they describe a woman.
Exactly.
Well, she was voluptuous and traditionally pretty.
She was traditionally pretty.
Or when it's describing her friend, and she's like, nobody describes her friends.
Nobody.
Like that.
No.
Yeah, that's a problem. But I think men can write female characters and women can write male characters. The audience is always going to judge you anyway. So, and I also understand from a marketing perspective, if let's say I were to write a book about a girl, a true like female
coming of age.
And I did write a coming of age book with a female character, but it really has nothing to do about, it's a more universal coming of age experience. And I did that on purpose, obviously, because it's icky the other way. You know what I mean? Like, there's there becomes there's a tightrope that you have to walk, but I'm a big believer in like consuming stuff that's outside of your stratosphere, and also at least attempting to write stuff that's outside of your comfort zone, as long as it's authentic and well researched and has some sort of a personal thread to your own.
I not only agree, I think it's necessary to reflect like society as a whole, and unless you live in like a white
bubble,
supremacist
which apparently
a
lot of people live in bubbles. But empathy is a muscle, and if you don't exercise it, it goes away. And everybody is basically learning to just surround themselves with the things that make them comfortable, and they're not having to put themselves in other people's shoes, etc. I mean, given the algorithm, going back to that, the algorithms and things like that. So I think stories are a really, really great way to help people practice that empathy.
I agree. I just don't want it. I think a lot of people now see it as like burdensome, like it's a chore. And I don't think it should be that way.
No, it shouldn't.
This is a downer, you guys.
This is what happens every episode. We're like having fun, and then we get to the real thing. It's like it's like my therapy sessions.
Yeah, but that makes for the better episodes.
Oh, good.
So, well, speaking of the readers, since you read all the Goodreads reviews and things like that, did readers take away what you hoped they would take away, and if they didn't, what is it that you would like for readers to take away from your book?
The overarching thing is I want readers to really get insight into the character of Annie, into her head, the mental health aspect, the refugee experience. I want them to feel a sense of empathy.
Yeah.
I think right now, a lot of readers, especially the crime fiction genre readers and with all of the stress in the world with COVID, they just want an escape. Like they want a really fun escapist book. And that's fine. But I think there's also a place for books where you really can't just insert yourself straight into this adventure story. You need to view the world through the lens of someone very different than yourself. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, you're coming home from work, you're tired, you just want something light. But there's also a place for something a little bit more substantial, I think, or that challenges the way you think about things.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's next for you, KT? What are you working on now? What's on the horizon?
I'm working on book 2, which is another psychological thriller, and it's workplace based, kind of drawing from my past experience in the corporate beauty and fashion world.
Ooh.
Oh, workplace thrillers.
Fun.
What's the title?
Place thrillers.
I don't have a title yet. I have a working title, but it's not going to be the real title.
And so she's not going to share it with you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm still writing it.
That's okay.
Maybe it'll be I Know What You Did instead of You Know What You Did. Just to make
You should write a
happy,
sequel to the first book called You Know What You're Going to Do.
I know what
Eventually.
I did.
I know what I have done in the past.
A friend suggested, we'll end on a moment of levity. A friend suggested a book called it's something along the lines of You Know Who I Did. And it was an expose, like a spicy romance thriller.
It's like an erotic thriller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is not my next book, though. But I leave the idea for you guys if you want to write it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
No, it'd be like, what's
Shipping
her
on
name's?
that.
Gosh, the huge author. She did like A is for blank, B is for blank.
Oh, Sue Grafton? Oh, yeah, I could keep changing it.
Yeah.
Michelle's like, what?
They know what they did at some point.
It's true. Yeah, it could be a whole thing.
Scratch that. So
Thank
moving on.
God we're not your reps. That's all I have to say.
Well, I can't wait to see you guys in person again next conference.
I know.
Yeah.
Wait, are you
going to,
hold on. I need to know,
sorry.
KT, are you a pantser or a outliner?
Answer. I have no patience for outlining.
Ka-ching. All
I could
right,
never.
I love you.
Yeah.
Repantsers.
What we can take over the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
I
But we
think
won't plan
everyone
it
out-
ahead. We'll just do it.
Everyone outlines in their head, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then I erase it all because here's the thing, okay? If I write anything down, and I have discovered this about myself. If I write anything down and say, this is how the story is going to go, my brain goes, nope. And as I'm writing, it completely changes. So it's almost a way to guarantee, if I write something down, it's a way to guarantee that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I just lose interest if I plot, then it's just tedious. It's
because
like
you write,
slog.
I write to discover. And if I've already discovered the whole story, what's the point?
I write to escape, the same reason I read. Exactly. And if I already know
Right.
what's going to happen, then I'm like, it's just boring.
Those are great quotes. I'm going to write it down. Right to discover.
Yes, that's been my lifelong
Right to escape.
right. Yes. Right. And then a friend of mine is a director, says he writes to direct. So, yes, but right to discover. Well, Katie, this has been an absolute pleasure, and good luck with the Mets tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I'm still smarting from Matt's joke.
Boo,
He's
Mets.
cruel.
I'm a Mets
No!
fan. I'm definitely more of a Mets fan than a Yankees fan, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm
What
a Jeff McNeil fan because he went to Long Beach State. So yeah.
All right. Bye, KT. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.